Hello beautiful people, thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're looking at two low whistles from Howard with an addition of a key, and that makes these low whistles easier to play. And I have two different finishes of whistle to show you today. So let me take you through some close-ups. I'll show you the body of these whistles, how everything works, and of course how they sound, and I'll compare the finger hole spacing to a regular low D whistle to show you how much difference this is going to make to your low whistle playing. On first glance, the Howard low D whistle looks like a regular low D whistle. This is the black silk version. It's the more expensive of the two that I'm going to show you today. It has these gorgeous golden rimmed finger holes, which I think looks fantastic. And you can find out more information about this whistle in itself. I do already have a review for this and the other one I'll show you today. So I'll put those links in the description up here on the eye and at the end of the video as well. Now, if you don't know, Howard whistle mouthpieces are interchangeable. They make a few different versions of this mouthpiece. There's a reed, there's a balanced, there's a few different sounds. So if you change the mouthpiece and you can select the one you like when you order, it will give your whistle a little bit of a different tone. We have the logo on the front here, and this is kind of engraved into the finish of the whistle. And as we come down, you'll see that we have three regular low D whistle holes at the top, but at the bottom, we have the addition of this rather snazzy key feature. Now, this is a key similar to what you'd find on something like a clarinet or something like a regular transverse flute, concert flute. And what happens is it allows your fingers to be a lot closer together on the bottom holes. So as you can see, this pad at the bottom is where the original hole would be, right down here. But instead, you don't need that, and you can press on this part of the key, meaning your fingers are a lot closer together, and you don't need the piper's grip. Last but not least, we have the key of the whistle on the back and the little Howard signature here as well. Now, this particular whistle is designed for right-handed players, so the key is on the right-hand side, if you will. Howard will be offering the key on the left-hand side for left-handed players, and they are considering offering the key a little further up as well as an optional extra. It will be quite expensive, but if you have tiny hands and you can't reach this top finger hole spacing either, you could have a much narrower gap up here as well with the addition of a second key. These whistles are also tunable, and you'll see there are a selection of little lines at the top of the whistle here, which help you fine-tune this whistle to exactly where you want it to be. We also have a little bit of plumber's tape around the top here, just to keep everything nice and tightly sealed. This second version, which I have on the top here, you'll notice, is a slightly different finish. It doesn't have the gold around the finger holes. It's a little bit more of a matte finish. It's slightly cheaper if you go for this finish rather than the extra jazzy black silk. It has all the same features as I've just shown you, but this one has actually come with a reed mouthpiece rather than the balanced, so you can get a bit of an idea of how the two mouthpieces differ in sound as well. Now, when you order directly from Howard, your whistle comes in this nice sturdy plastic case. They're extendable or telescopic in some way, so you can store longer whistles in these or shorter whistles in these, and of course it keeps your whistle nice and safe when it's in the post. They do come additionally with extra packaging around the outside, and these actually came wrapped in tissue paper to keep everything brand new, safe, scratch-free as it's on its way to you in the post. Now, I have been playing these whistles for the last few weeks, and I have noticed that in comparison to other low whistles I have with added keys, like the Sasato, this whistle key is a lot quieter. Some whistles make a clicking noise when you tap them, but this one has some sort of felt and rubber pads in place to stop that from happening. These might require a little bit more maintenance than perhaps the Sasato keyed whistles, just because you need to keep everything moving really smoothly here. But usually there is some sort of grease that you would use on a tuning slide, and you can pop that on your keys at the bottom as well. So how do the finger holes compare with other low D whistles? Well, let's take a look at my MK Pro Low D and the Howard Low D with the added key. As you can see, if I hold them side by side, the top finger holes are actually a little tiny bit further apart on my MK Pro, but they're slightly closer together on the Howard. The finger holes are, however, a little larger on the Howard whistle, so if you do have slender fingers or you find this top hand a stretch usually, then I would recommend contacting Howard whistles for the addition of the extra key at the top, because this might really help you out. As we go down to the bottom, however, as you can see, the position you need to put your final or sixth finger in on the Howard whistle is right the way up here, because you've got this key feature, so you don't need to reach all the way down the bottom here. So rather than a full piper's grip stretch, you're just settling sort of in between the two holes. And this is much more similar to the finger spacing you'd find on higher keyed whistles, for example an A or even B flat whistle. Now I have done tests on these whistles previously for volume and for balance and for the strength of certain notes, and of course the tuning overall. So all that information can be found on the reviews I have of these whistles, including information about the different mouthpieces as well. So I'm not going to repeat that in this video, but if you are interested because you're brand new to Howard whistles, I will link that again up here on the eye and in the description down below and at the end of the video. But let's see how the key affects what you can and can't do on this whistle. My first concern with the addition of a key was whether you could still perform certain ornamentation, for example a roll or a slide. So let's see how those work. So as you can see from my demonstration there are some limitations with the inclusion of a key on a low whistle. Firstly, half-holing is really difficult because you can't physically half cover the hole. So although you can lightly press this key and then heavily press this key to make the difference or the distinction, it's quite a fine art, so it would require a lot of practice and it's definitely not going to work every time. With regard to some of the other ornamentation, rolls again on that bottom hole might be a little difficult, partly because you don't really have quite so much of an option to quickly tap that key. And I'm finding with this one that on occasion it is getting stuck in place a little bit, which makes fast ornaments around this key a little bit problematic. I definitely would suggest that if you hold your whistle horizontally like this, the key is likely to hover in a downwards position. You definitely want to be playing more vertically to ensure that that key pops back out every time. Slides, on the other hand, seem really easy with this, which I really like. You seem to be able to slide off nicely. But finger vibrato, again, because you need that light tapping motion and you're only half covering a hole, you can't really achieve that very well with the inclusion of this key at the bottom. So let me just quickly play something for you on both of these whistles so you can hear the difference in the mouthpieces between the balanced and the reed. Prices for these whistles actually depend on quite a few different things. The finish that you get on the outside, the position of your key, the amount of keys you have on the whistle, the type of mouthpiece and how many mouthpieces you choose. So I highly recommend going to the Howard website. I have linked that in the description down below. And of course then you can find all the up-to-date pricing and get in touch with Howard Whistles if you want to order one of these with custom keys placed on the whistle, and of course if you have any additional requirements. I hope this was useful in showing you how these whistles work and whether it might be an idea for branching into low whistles if you have small hands. I really hope it was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to check out some of the other videos I mentioned. The tune today was Castle of Dromore. I'll also link that on screen right now as well. Thank you so much for watching. Happy whistling, and I'll see you folks again soon. Bye!